AreaSports.net proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch, one of the area's longest-running local sports talk shows, featuring interviews with area coaches, athletes, and other media personnel covering the sports in our area. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch starts now. Welcome once again to another edition of the Sports Couch here on AreaSports.net. I'm Randy Olson along with Danny Ounceman. And Danny, it's been a while since we've had an opportunity to do this. All the COVID stuff and everything else that's happened kind of changed things, but it's good to be back in the saddle, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Randy. It'll be interesting to see how things come. It's hard to believe it's going to be basketball season already.
A lot of the teams had their Meet the Team nights this week, and we have four coaches that we're going to talk to today on the Sports Couch. We'll have Doug Miller of the Hamilton County Foxes, Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules, Jake Talbert of the Wayne City Indians, and we're going to start off with a conversation with Tim Holloway, the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, joins us right now. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, great to have you on the show. And, hey, I know you're ready to get your Rams going, and we were there Thursday night for Meet the Team night, and looked fun seeing them get up and down the court. And how's things looking for you so far during the early stages of practice?
Well, and, as you know, we've lost 7 seniors and lost a lot. We lost about 80% of our scoring and rebounding, but we like this team. And, we've always kind of coach the team you're with, but you're always looking ahead a little bit and have to have that double vision. And when they were freshmen, we started putting some things in for them, and we felt like, they were going to play a little differently. And we started really getting into that identity and creating that identity last summer, and it's still going to be a process. But, Meet the Team was really early this year. We just had 3 practice/tryouts, so a little bit rugged, but not bad, and they definitely are going to play hard and be competitive.
Well, when you lose a D1 player, that's a big hole to fill, as well as those other seniors that you mentioned. But you also mentioned the fact these guys were working together as freshmen, and you knew you were going to be putting some things in. And that brings up a good point, because you got a great freshman coach there in Zeke Light, who's a big part of your program, and he really kind of helps get things off to the right start, so that when these guys become varsity and junior varsity players, they're already doing the stuff that you need them to do, right?
Oh, it's a big piece to the puzzle, and I know it's not easy. I did that job for 6 or 7 years, and you got a lot of kids from different backgrounds coming in. But I think that's what we always try to do with our baseball program. You're always looking at maybe not where they're at, but what can they be, and who are your AA guys, your AAA guys, who's got a chance to do this and that. And we started putting some things in differently. When I was hired, I felt like the 3 teams that we had coming up were all different personnel-wise, and they all were going to have to play differently. And we were really balanced that first year, that COVID year, and then last year it was grind it out and try to get it to big boy with 2 or 3 guys on him and try to figure that out nightly. And then and now we've got a little bit more quickness. We don't have the size, but we've got some quickness. So we've got to play to our strengths and play to our personnel, and we've been working on that for a few years.
Tim, it's interesting you should say that. I played at McLeansboro for David Lee and Gary Brzezinski, and I was talking to Coach Brzezinski one time, and I said, Coach, what's one of the biggest challenges for a coach? And he said, the good coaches adjust to the talent you have. Not every team is capable of playing at the same pace, doing the same things. You've got some core things that you use with every team, but you got to figure out the strengths of each team you have, and the coach that can adjust to that usually is pretty successful.
Well, those are good coaches that you're talking about, so I hope we're in line with that, and I believe that's very true. In college you can recruit to the way you want to play, but especially here at Mount Vernon, we've got some kids coming from several feeder schools, and this group's going to play differently, and we're guarding differently. So there's some things that on with the only film that we're going to have is our Meet the Team night film going into our first game. So it was a great teaching tool. We were able to get in the film room and look at some things offensively and defensively, and we still don't have all of our stuff in, obviously, but we like them. And then that sophomore group I see as a different group. They're going they're going to need more screens, and we've got a lot of shooters in that group. So I mean, that's been the way we've handled our baseball program, just having that one eye on today and one eye 2 years ahead and trying to keep it going year after year.
Well, it was good to see Navante Nesbitt back during Meet the Team night the other night after his football injury, because he missed most of the football season, but he seems to be doing just fine after the injury, and man, he's fast, I'll tell you, real quick.
Yeah, he's tough. He's tough, and a lot of people don't realize, because he wasn't going to say it, and we weren't going to make excuses, but he played injured for almost the whole entire season last year. And, he was a key guy off the bench and even started a few games, but he had a bad wrist injury early on. He couldn't get healed up, and it's hard to play as a point guard with not being able to move your wrist and shoot the ball and things like that. He's tough. He's very mature. He's got a good basketball IQ. And, he's one of the guys we're counting on, and we've got to get him in spots with space where he can make good decisions, and which he does, and also get to the rim. And that's one of the challenges with this group. We're playing differently, but we've got to use our strengths, and he's one of them. Just getting him in space and surrounding them with shooters where they've got to pick their poison. They're either going to have to try to stop him, or he does a good job kicking their shooters. So, definitely a leader. He's a guy that we look to daily and he's never changed. Not one day has he been a different guy, and those guys are special.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your schedule if we can, Coach, because I get some changes on the schedule this year. I know you were going to be hosting a Thanksgiving tournament. That didn't work out, unfortunately, but maybe that'll get rolling next year. So you've got some regular season games right out of the gate that are starting on the 21st, and you're playing some new teams there. You're going to play Granite City, then you got a home game with Triad, and then making a trip to take on Springfield too. So those are some new teams on the format, and also I believe Taylorville too, right?
Right. Yeah, we're very fortunate with the way things went to be able to have that opportunity. We tried to bring back our Turkey Classic, and we had Collinsville on board, and we were trying to get some quality teams for our fans and for our kids to play at home, and we wanted to add a JV game in there. I thought that was unique, and Darren Lee told me it was going to be tough, and he was right. We tried and just couldn't get the teams we needed, so we were in a mad scramble, and we were fortunate that this opened up. I wanted to play 3A, 4A tournament with some quality teams, some teams that are not in our conference, and the bonus of the JV tournament is huge. We've got some kids that need to play and get some minutes there too, and because we're going to need some depth this year, and you also get a home game out of it, which is nice, and then it rotates. So out of the next few years, this will be the longest trips we'll have. I think next year Triad is the host, so we got a little bit further trip this year, twice to Springfield, but it'll be good for us, and should be some good competition.
Well, Coach, it's always nice to see teams you don't play night in and night out, and I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, the only tough thing is we're going to play a Granite City team that on film last year played a lot of different defenses, so we're trying to get prepared for that. Several different presses, and we're going to their place. And then Triad really played us tough this summer. We played some good competition from Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, and they might have handed us one of our worst losses. They're about 6'3", 6'4" across the board. They all shoot it, drive it, and they shot the lights out. And they're expecting to be good. They've got everybody back, and they're pretty athletic. So that's going to be a challenging game the next night without having any scouting info because they are off that night. So and then we turn around and go to Springfield to play Springfield, who will be a good athletic team on Wednesday. So it's a good way to jump in, and with only two guys with varsity experience, it's a good way to start off, find out where we're at.
Well, I noticed, too, that the first meeting with the Centralia Orphans is an early one this year. That's a home game at Shagnon Gym on December 2nd, so that'll come up real quick, won't it?
Yeah, it's coming up quick. As soon as we get finished with our tournament, we'll have that, and then we'll turn around and host our Southern Illinois shootout the next day. So there's a lot going on early, a lot to get ready for with a new team, but our guys are doing a good job right now staying focused, and we're going to be as prepared as we can be.
Well, one of the challenges, Coach, I'm sure, is losing 7 seniors. Who's in this group's going to step up and be the leader?
Well, I think you can count on Navante and Colin McClure. Colin was starter. He was our only returning starter from last year. Played in a lot of big games. We played a talented schedule last year, so he's been through it. And with Navante getting those minutes last year, and those two guys are pretty mature. I mean, they're everyday guys, and they set the tone in practice. And then we had some guys turning on this summer and show some things with Jacob Morrison, a senior, Kerry Richardson, a senior. We have Wyatt Pilson, who's another senior. We also had some good minutes this summer from R.J. King. Got better as a junior. I thought that I don't want to leave anybody out, but we had Quentin Millsap. He's a little guard that loves basketball. He's always in the right spot, and he's going to bring a boost. So Roland Adams is a transfer from Salem that was first team all Salem tournament last year in a tough group. So he's still trying to figure out some new things, but he might be a guy that can also give us some minutes. So I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but it's just a matter of figuring out who the groups are together that can be the best group in each situation. If we're up, I think we can put a different type of group out there, and if we get down, we need to press. We've got a different type of group, and it's a nice situation to have some depth. Where, as in yesterday, we watched film. We had a few guys switch their jersey, so they're going to have to earn that black jersey every day, and it's going to be a daily competition for playing time for sure.
Well, you mentioned you only had 3 practices so far, but really so much work went into this summer, and that's when you really get better is doing all that work and playing all those teams and things that you did in the summer. And I noticed the other night, too, at the Meet the Team night, that some of the guys have really gotten a lot bigger and stronger. You can tell they've been hitting the weights. I thought R.J. King and Wyatt Pilson were a lot bigger than I remember them being.
Oh, Wyatt's, he's a country boy, and he's a worker. I mean, that kid works, so he's got to be able to guard in a post and rebound, and he knows himself. He knows what he can do. And then RJ slimmed down a little bit, which he needed to, and that helps. He's moving better. And the good thing is with those two bigs, I mean, we've got to go hard as we can, and we've got to get them out and get the next guy in. There's no saving yourself or pacing. I mean, with 2 of them, they've got to be able to do that. And there might be a time where we go small when needed, but those guys been in the weight. Everybody's been in the weight room, and you can't really put a scientific, however you want to put it. You can't put camaraderie in a measurable situation, but we have a lot of camaraderie. We spend a lot of time with this group in the summer, doing some fun things and playing together, staying in the hotel. Going to the pool and this and that, and it helps. It helps. It's a team game, and everyone has to be on board. So we feel like we've got some good camaraderie, and that never hurts.
Oh, one more question before we let you go, Coach. The South 7 Conference, how do you see it sizing up this year?
Well, it's always tough, and we've been at it most every game. We had a few get away late, but we got a new team, and there's some other teams that have some guys back, but there's also some other teams that are turning over some groups. So I think regardless, you're going to have to fight. And when you look back, we've had some really good teams that didn't always compete in the conference at the first or second spot. I mean, it's a battle, and a lot of times it comes down to just a few things, whether it's free throws or a stop here and there, and that's what we've really been trying to ingrain in our guys' heads, the details of the game, and every single stop matters, and the free throws in practice matter, and all those little things come into winning the close games, and we've really got to be able to battle on the road and at home. It's not easy anywhere. So good group of teams and coaches. Yeah,
definitely so. It's going to be a fun year. Tim, we appreciate your time this morning on the Sports Couch. Best of luck as you move forward, and look forward to that first game over there in that tournament play, seeing some new teams, Granite City, Triad, what have you. But best of luck. We'll be talking to you soon, okay?
Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
You bet. All righty. Bye-bye. It's Coach Tim Holloway of the Mount Vernon Rams, and Boy, when you lose somebody like N.J. Benson, who is now playing Division I basketball at Missouri State, that's an adjustment, isn't it, Danny?
Anytime you lose 7 seniors, Randy, those are kids that's been around your program for 4 years. It'll be a big challenge to this next group to step up.
It definitely will be. But when we come back, we're going to be visiting with Coach Doug Miller of the Hamilton County Foxes. And you talk about making an adjustment. That's somebody else that's going to really make an adjustment because they lost so many seniors.
There's another group right there.
A ton of seniors off that team. A team that won, 27 or 29 games last
29.
year? 29, yeah. We'll talk to Doug coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.